Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. Thanks for watching us on our live Computer America video streaming page. Great show for you tonight. Intel is here for the first hour. And we're going to be talking about
2 minutes until showtime.
No, we're going to be talking about pocket avatars. This is very cool technology, and we have with us the general manager of Intel Pocket Avatars. I didn't know they would have a general manager of Intel Pocket Avatars. I think he kind of corrals them all in a little room and everything. He says, okay, I'm the general manager. Now I want you to do this. No. Rich Hanna is here with us from Intel. It's going to be really interesting first hour. We're going to be talking about how they can help you to communicate even more effectively. And then in the second hour, we're going to have a company called Spritz. They have a technology. Ben says he's seen it before. I've never seen it before. That helps you read faster, better, and according to them, with far more comprehension. Ben doesn't think that's so. So we're gonna have Spritz on the show in the second hour talking about
1 minute
this
until
technology.
showtime.
We have the Chief Innovation Officer of Spritz Technology, James Locke, is going to be here with in the second hour. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. It's going to be a fun one and a fun ride here on Computer America. So stand by. $15 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host.
And Ben. Okay, and it is our Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. Our guest tonight, we have a great program scheduled for you. In the second hour, we're going to be talking about a technology that lets you read more quickly using those little tiny devices, those little pocket devices on the program. And, oh, okay, what? We just lost our guest, so let me get him back on.
That's a good start.
That is a good start. Yes, exactly. There he is. Okay, and hopefully we'll get him back.
Hi, Craig.
Oh, okay, so all right, stand by. Okay, so and in the first hour, we're going to have Intel here, right? Intel. It's the Intel Sponsor Hour here on the program. Yes, and we're going to be talking to a gentleman who's going to tell us all about Intel's Pocket Avatars. Pocket Avatars. Rich Hanna is here with us, General Manager of Intel Pocket Avatars. You know, I didn't know you could have pocket. I know about avatars. I didn't know you could have a pocket avatars. Did you know what pocket avatars meant?
No, I had not.
All right. Well, we're going to find out all about that as we move into the show. So let's get started. I mean, I'm really excited about this. That speed reading thing, I think, is really slick. So I'm interested in finding out more about that. But right now, as I said, Intel is here on our Intel Sponsor Hour, and each month at this time, Intel joins us to discuss the latest in computers and technology. Now, did you know, Ben, that the selfie, animated emoticons, Facebook timelines, Pinterest boards, and Tumblrs are just the tip of the self-expression explosion, which is making content creators out of all of us? But For those feeling creative but perhaps a little camera shy, Pocket Avatars offer a refreshing, over-the-top, free messaging alternative. Now, here with us tonight is Rich Hanna, and Rich is the general manager of Intel Pocket Avatars. Rich, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thanks for having me, Craig. Hi, Ben.
Good to hear from you.
Well, exactly. Let's, again, the term Pocket Avatar. I've heard that Intel created this very fun new app called Pocket Avatars. Tell us a little bit about what this is and how Pocket Avatars actually work. I mean, these are different than the emoticons, or we get the little smileys and that type of thing.
It's a little bit different, yeah. It's an app. It's called Pocket Avatars, and what it is a messaging app. I think a lot of people, your listeners certainly know about messaging apps today. It allows people to connect with each other in an app environment and send messages to and from each other. Pocket Avatars does what many messaging apps do, which is allow people to send text messages or picture messages back and forth. But we add this unique twist, and it is like an emoticon, but it's a little bit more expressive than an emoticon. So we allow people to download an avatar. They can go to our shop, find different avatars that they think are fun or interesting or creative or expressive in some way, and then they can download the avatar of their choice, or they can download dozens of avatars. And then when they're ready to sort of connect with one of their friends, they can create a little message with that avatar and send it over the wire to their friends. There are many kinds of messaging environments, and your audience probably is well aware that some are just offered to you by your cell carrier, often called text messages.
Yeah, sure.
And some new messaging apps go over the wire through sort of a IP channel. And that's what this kind of message is. It's an over-the-top messaging service, and because it's over-the-top, we can actually offer it for free to users.
Now, so I know, for example, with text messaging, it's pretty vanilla. I mean, you can go ahead, you can type in a message. Some of them are a little bit more creative. I know on my iPhone, I can get they're like little balloons, little message balloons that you see on like in comic strips. And my text might be on the right side, and the responses are on the left side of the screen, that type of thing. But basically, that's it. You can now. I think now as that has progressed, you can now add little emoticons, little smiley faces, that type of things. Certainly, I know you can do the text ones, but I think now it'll actually do little pictures. But that's pretty much it. And you can certainly get the message across, but as anybody who has dealt with text messaging, you can lose a lot in the or things can be misunderstood. You can say one sentence and say it in several different ways, and it will actually change the meaning of that sentence. So you can say to someone, "Have a nice day," or you can say, "Have a nice day." And so it's the same words, but you're saying something different, and it's very hard to convey a person's expression or meaning without something else. So I'm assuming that these Pocket Avatars can more personalize what it is that you're trying to say. I mean, it could be a friendly little thing, or it could be, does it add some more personalization to the conversation?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a very good point. So it's a little hard to understand fully, so let me just try to explain the experience. So what we're going to do with our app is we're going to use the camera inside your smartphone, and we work on both Apple phones as well as Android devices. And you're going to hold the camera up to your face, and at this point the camera's looking at you, almost like you're doing a video chat. What's going to happen is our software is going to look at your face, and it's going to start to see when you smile or frown or look surprised or blink your eyes. Almost anything that you can do on your face, our software will pick that up, and then it'll reflect your expressions right back onto the character that you selected. So we've got dozens and dozens of avatars, from Lego to Katy Perry to Annoying Orange and many others. And you can pick the one that you find most interesting, and instantaneously, all in real time with nothing more than your smartphone, you can actually express your emotion, yourself, your facial expressions right onto the character. And then once you've got that sort of figured out, you just hit the record button, you capture a message. It's going to be your voice and all of your facial expressions all put onto that little character. And at that point, you're ready to either review your message or just send it off to a friend. And that's how we're sort of taking the emoticon experience, which is a very simplistic way to share emotion. You're smiling or you're frowning or you're ecstatic or you're in love. And we're trying to say, let's see if we can enhance that overall experience and deliver it to friends within the app. And then the one other thing that I'll just mention here is you described the chat thread as being, you know, a person says something on the right side and they get a reply on the left side. And we have that experience. I mean, that's what messaging is all about. Mm-hmm. But what we're doing is once you've created an avatar message, it gets delivered, and it'll actually, when you play it, it'll go full screen and it'll play, you know, over your phone speaker, so you can hear the message and see the full expression using the full real estate of the screen.
Now that's interesting. So the Pocket Avatar, are you saying is it it's a recorded session, or is it well, the one thing I like about texting is that it's a live it's live at the moment. So with a Pocket Avatar, you're putting a little more effort into it to convey exactly what it is you want to say.
Yeah, so it's a good question. You have the opportunity. Our experience is exactly like texting. So I would text you, you would see that message instantaneously, you'd text me back. I'd send you a picture, you'd send me a picture back or reply with a text. I'd send you an avatar message and you'd get to look at it immediately, and you could reply back with any means that you wanted to. You could send me a voice recording, a picture message, or you could send me an avatar message in reply. So that experience is very, you know, instantaneous, and we're aware when you're online, and so I can see that you're there, and you can see that I'm there, and we can have a very dynamic conversation back and forth with all this interesting, you know, avatar enhancements. And you can select the avatar of your choice. You can change avatars constantly, or if you've got a particularly fun avatar message that you received from one of your friends, you know, in a previous messaging thread, you can save that to your avatar gallery, and you can then forward that message to me later. So if you're not in a spot where you could actually take the time to put the camera up to your face and send a message, you could just pull one from your stock gallery that you had previously recorded yourself or your friends had recorded in the past, and you can just zip it off very quickly. So you can continue the conversation even though you might not be in an environment where you could actually put the camera up to your face and record a new message.
So you can have sort of like canned avatar messages ready to go.
You can. So you can have all those expressions that you want all ready to go and saved and stored, and then zip them off right at the right moment so that it can be very instantaneous. It doesn't always require that you create anew.
It seems to me like the more you use Pocket Avatars, the more, I guess the more expressive you can become, because you can have this, you can start building this little library of emotional responses that you would typically use and have them ready to go. I would think that would.
You're right, and actually that's part of our future roadmap and the things that we're introducing over the course of the next couple months. It's important today, more and more you're seeing people want to be able to zip back and forth between you know, sort of emotionally oriented messages. You want to tell someone you love them, you want to tell someone that was funny, you know, and we're just taking all those things and just adding a layer of animation to the experience and a layer of real creativity to the experience, so that the user can get a much richer kind of sharing of emotion and fun.
But is it still basically, though, texting? I mean, you're sending text, right? And the Pocket Avatar is in addition to the text, what you're saying?
We offer, just like many messaging apps and services, we're offering the ability to allow people to communicate in the way they want to. So, you know, there are times when text is more than appropriate. There's times when pictures are important, and we allow for that, of course. We want to offer people the opportunity to really enhance further their experience and send voice messages or avatar messages which have a combination of your voice and your facial expressions all mapped onto a character of your choice. We're constantly updating the store. There's constantly new avatars. You can go get them, download them, and then zip them off to your friends.
All right.
One thing I think it's important for people to understand here is that we do allow for me to send messages to you, and we can bounce back and forth very quickly. But we also allow people to share their messages that they've created with a much broader audience if they want to. So if I created a funny message using an annoying orange character or a Lego character from the Lego movie, I could simply post that to my Facebook page, and it would appear as a video within my Facebook feed, or I could send it to Twitter. So there's a lot of different ways to send these messages, including even just sending it on email or a good old-fashioned text message from your phone service. So there's lots of ways to get messages out there, but we wanted to make sure that we had a method to allow people to communicate very quickly by having a sort of one-to-one kind of messaging experience inside the app and create that chat thread that you described earlier.
Okay, so but the bottom line is these are messages. Yes, they're animated avatar messages, but they're not a live conversation like you and I are having. I say something, you respond back. I say another thing. It's not a live conversation. It's messaging. Is that correct?
That's right. It's not video chat. It's
okay.
It's avatar-based video messaging. Yep.
And that is very, very useful. So how do they? You started to get into this. So if I want to send messages to friends and family, I can do that as well.
Yeah, so in the messaging environment in Pocket Avatars, the app, you can just access your contact list and send and bring friends into the app so that you can establish chats with any and all of your friends. And you could do a one-to-one message, or you could actually initiate a group message that goes out to you and up to 20 friends. And then people can all pile on and reply with text or pictures or, of course, avatar messages. We do want to allow people to take this fun technology. It's amazing technology. I should explain how this works. It's just incredible technology.
Sure.
And send it more broadly. So we do have the opportunity to send it via other social means. People, maybe they like to communicate via Facebook, and they want to send this. They want to post a funny message that they've created, or a holiday greeting, or a happy Valentine's Day, whatever the particular occasion is. They can create the message with an appropriate avatar character, and they can just blitz all of their friends with it, or they can have a more intimate one-on-one or one-to-few kind of dialogue.
Wow. It's certainly the process of using the camera to look at a person's facial movements and gestures and translate into an actual, avatar character. And then allow you to use the messaging, I think, is extremely novel. I mean, how did they come up with this idea? How did Intel come up with this?
Well, Intel is just incredible at developing technology, and this particular technology came out of a lab project where people were exploring facial recognition, facial tracking, and head tracking. And there's some distinctions there which your audience would appreciate understanding. We pursue facial tracking and head tracking. So we're looking at some points in your face, we're looking at where your head is located in the screen, and we're using that to actually animate the character by seeing how your mouth moves, how your nose moves, when you blink your eyes, when you look left and right.
Oh goodness. I think for some reason we lost him.
Not the steadiest of connections tonight.
I don't know what's going on here because but I'll go ahead and get him back. I'm gonna dial him back and find out what's going on, and we'll get this. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, Rich. But continue on. You were saying.
So we'll take all of that facial information and we'll map it onto the character, and they'll allow people to send things. What we won't do is try to understand who you are. This is not about facial recognition, and we don't have enough information, or we're not using enough information to to actually identify you as a person. So in that respect, it's sort of anonymous still, right? We're still sending facial information, but not enough to establish your identity.
Okay.
But this technology came out of the Intel labs, and when we were building it, we were thinking about, gosh, where could we use this? We thought about the live video chat experience that you talked about, and we thought about other environments. But what we realized that the messaging space is such an incredible space. It's so rich. It's so popular right now. It's being used by a huge group of people. And what a different experience this is. And so that's when we started focusing this technology to be applied in the messaging space.
Rich,
Rich,
what I'm going to do is I want to drop the connection again because for some reason it's not a good connection. So I'm going to call you right back. Okay.
Okay.
All right. See if we can get this. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. And again, hey.
It did sound a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah, it was a little broken here, so we'll get this. And sometimes the technology gods do this to us, and hopefully we get a better.
How's
connection.
that? Is that better?
A lot better. Okay.
Got to be careful because the next thing is to pull the plug and restart it. So hopefully that won't work. Rich, before you get back into it, you mentioned something about security and how if people who are concerned about privacy, this obviously won't be enough to it's not like Intel has some giant database full of everyone's faces and they're keeping them on ice for some reason. But let's say if if I'm using the Pocket Avatar app and I hand the phone over to Craig, like it's not gonna, sirens and alarms and blinkers are gonna go off saying, "Hey, you're not Ben. What are you doing? What are you doing with this phone?" Like it doesn't really matter who's using the app under your profile. It's just tracking whatever face is in front of you. It then
exactly right. Exactly right. It doesn't matter. It'll change real time. You don't have to reset the app or orient it to your face or anything like that. And in that respect, this technology is just amazing because you think about what we're trying to do, and then you think about the fact that we're doing it on a phone and not a PC, not a server, not on an incredibly high-end computing device.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing that you can actually take this experience in real time, capture, reflect it all back to the user so you can actually see what you're doing on the screen, and then zip it off and send it. In that respect, it's really amazing.
Now,
that's, and sorry one more time, but that's one of the things that is pretty amazing is because we've had companies on the show before that that they showed off technology not exactly like this but similar. FaceRig comes to mind, but the horsepower required to use a program like that was, I'm running a pretty good computer and it was maxing out a couple cores. It was some serious hardware, and for you to do this on phones in general, not just one type of iPhone or one type of Android, but for phones in general, that's quite impressive.
It's impressive, and it gives you a real sense of how incredible the engineering activities are here at Intel, but specifically in this group. The people who are building this algorithm are just amazing. We work on over 3,500 Android devices, more every month. We work on a variety of different iPhone devices, and it wouldn't be unrealistic to say that we probably work on a billion mobile devices out in the world today. So it's incredible technology. It's been refined over years, and the algorithm gets better and better. We work in a huge array of different lighting environments. It picks up all kinds of subtlety and nuance, and it does it in a way that make people feel comfortable because it's really not their face going over the wire, and some people aren't comfortable with video chats and it makes them feel awkward. In this case, it's just a representation of their face.
Yeah. Now, I've been exploring the Pocket Avatars app, and there are some really great avatar characters in it. Can you talk a little bit about what companies has Intel been working with on avatars?
Well, we've done some amazing partnerships, and when we're doing partnerships with people like this, we're talking about people who have content. They have some kind of likeness or a name that's important. So we've done content deals with Annoying Orange people, the people from Lego, music artists like Katy Perry, and studios like Sony Pictures Animation. So there's just a huge array of people. But think about the opportunity. I mean, that's one of the things we love most about this app is that we can bring a whole bunch of different kinds of content that's really meaningful and impactful to different people. We can bring them all into a single environment and allow people to find the avatar that suits them, that they're going to have the most fun with, that's going to be most expressive for the specific kind of message they want to send at that moment, and then they can grab that avatar and then send it off immediately.
Now, it's funny you should mention Katy Perry because one of the coolest avatars I've seen on the app is the Katy Perry avatar. How is Intel working with Katy Perry?
Well, Katie's, obviously just an amazing talent. She's an incredible artist, and one of the really unique attributes about Katy Perry is her ability to sort of see what's new and different, what's cool, and then to put her, connect herself to things that are sort of untested. That she's willing to be a leader in this respect, and she's willing to take risks. And when you think about what we're doing, we're taking somebody else's likeness or somebody else's content, and we're allowing users, just regular old people, to take that content and then send messages to each other. And that can be pretty daunting for some people, and it takes a lot of bravery and a lot of guts for any brand to stand up and say, yeah, this is the new way that the internet, the technology, the way users work and the way that they behave, and we're willing to step up and actually take that risk and participate in a really fun and interesting project like this. Yeah. And the great thing about Katie is that she has so many different kinds of looks, so many different albums, so many different characters within a video that we can create a different avatar for every month if we wanted to. If she wanted us to do that, we can do it. So there's all kinds of different ways to express yourself and then connect with her fan base. And that's what this is about for our brand partners. They're trying to find ways to connect with their own fan base. And in our app, users are creating content, they're sending it to each other, and each of those users are having a great brand experience with the characters or the celebrities or the athletes or the music artists that they adore.
Yeah, I was amazed how you were able to capture Katy Perry's, big doe eyes in avatar form. The likeness is striking.
Well, you should see the next avatar for Katy Perry. It's even better.
Can't wait.
So, I'm just kind of curious, Rich, who do you think the target market for Pocket avatars is?
That's a good question, and it's actually something that we've been refining quite a lot. So if you think about messaging in general, you're going to find that the core sweet spot for messaging is probably in that 18. Those are the people who are just in constant communication with their friends. They're trying to connect. There's lots of different reasons and avenues in which to connect. And this is really the core messaging audience. And we want those people to be delighted with our experience. So we're really focusing on those folks. We recognize that both people who are younger and people who are older are looking for a similar experience. And we want to offer a broad range of content so that regardless of who you are, you'll find something that connects with you, that's fun for you, meaningful for you, and you can then use it. So if you look across the kinds of content deals, these partnerships that we're building, we're really more and more focusing on trying to find content that meets the needs and desires of that 18 to 24-year-old. And I think Katy Perry is a perfect example of the kind of partner that really connects with these people. And we'll see more deals like this. We've got many more in the pipe and many more avatars that are about to be released.
I mean, there seems to be a great variety of avatars for everyone. You've got some from the Lego movie avatars, NCAA football avatars. You even have seasonal ones, like for Halloween and Christmas too.
Yeah, this is there's a great opportunity for people to connect with each other. You guys have seen the transition that's happened from traditional old paper greeting cards to electronic greeting cards.
Oh yeah.
And we want to make sure that people who want to send greetings to one another at different holidays, we've got content that allows them to do that. So Valentine's Day just happened, and we have a hilarious pug that's got to be the most expressive pug that you can imagine, with a ridiculous-looking knitted hat with hearts on it. I mean, it's just the kind of fun you can have with some creative people and their ability to sort of animate and create funny characters. And then, of course, for Valentine's Day, you want to be able to blow kisses, and so with some touch interaction on the screen while you're making a recording, we can actually blow a kiss or stick your tongue out at your friend. So there's all kinds of fun additional animations that we can add into the thread threaded environment as well.
Now, when you say we,
So yeah, we do have. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, when you say we can add, you're talking about Intel. You're adding that, or that the people are using that are they're adding these like the kisses and things like that.
We have all these different animations that can be connected to any given avatar that you download, and the user is left to discover them. So many of them are Easter egg-like features where if you interact with the screen in a certain way, you'll see the character do something that maybe surprised you.
Yeah, I was going to say, so because everything is not outlined, I mean, you might want to blow a kiss and something happens. You go, oh, I didn't know the avatar could do that.
It can do it, and there's more coming, and we're making it even easier on people as we go forward. Emotion is an important thing. We're trying to be able to connect, and we want people to be able to have fun with that emotion. So we're making it easier and easier for users to find these features and then add them into their messaging thread. And if you think about this, right, I mean, if you look at the characters that we're creating, you're controlling, in many ways, you're controlling a cartoon. And if you think about what you see on a Saturday morning, some of the funny cartoons and some of the funny things that they can do, these are things that we can't do in the real life. I can't have my eyes stick out from outside my socket, or I can't drop my jaw to the floor. But in an avatar message with this kind of animation that the user can trigger, you can do that in the middle of your message. You can suddenly have this absolute look of horror or shock, and the character will follow along with that, and you can communicate that kind of expression right across the wire.
I can see the fun that you can have with something like this. This is really, really cool. I mean, you can have those jaw-dropping moments, but now you literally can have the jaw drop at those moments through your avatar.
All within your control, and we can either trigger it because the algorithm, this really sophisticated world-class algorithm. I mean, we can actually observe you doing funny things on your face, and then that can be the trigger that will animate the character in a special way. Mm-hmm. Or we can have simple buttons on the screen so that as you're recording a message, we'll simply add those things and shoot them over.
All right. Well, listen, we're coming up to the bottom of the hour, Rich, but I have a lot more questions. And I understand. Now, I know you can't. Companies don't like to talk about things that aren't here yet, but maybe you can divulge a little bit when we come back in companies and/or what superstars you might be working with on new avatars. Can we talk a little bit about that when we come back? All right.
Classic teaser.
Yeah. Hey, we're a classic show. All right, this is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I have Intel here, Rich Hanna, the General Manager of the Intel Pocket Avatars app. We're going to be right back with them after these messages. Stay with us, please.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Hey, it's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the QNAP, that's QNAP, model TS131 Turbo NAS. NAS is network attached storage. Now, in rethinking workspaces, we decided that a scanner should, something like a shredder, be in one go-to place that's not your desktop. We think that a modestly powered notebook and one or more scanners could have a place of their own. The idea is that when the need or the mood strikes, we can take a few minutes now and again to feed it sheets to digitize. If the notebook has the scanner software configured to use a folder on a network-attached drive as its target, and to have OCR run on that folder, then other PCs on the network can map that drive and benefit from those scanned images now being searchable. That leaves the challenge of backing up the NAS. QNAP sent two of their TS131 Turbo NAS single-bay gigabit NAS products to fill the bill. These are intelligent boxes with a dual-core ARM Cortex-A9 processor, and believe me, their capacities far exceed our intended usage of them. We put a Seagate SATA 3 drive in each NAS housing. By mapping only one of the NAS products to all of the workstations on the network and both of them to the scanner station's notebook, we're able to use Casper, which is a nice overnight Delta imaging backup product, to update the image of the main NAS to its companion. Bottom line, QNAP TS131 Turbo NAS devices let us stay speedily and reliably connected to results for functional devices we wanted to disconnect from our desktops. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 34 minutes past the hour, and we have Rich Hanna here. He is the General Manager of Intel Pocket Avatars. We are talking about their avatars. We've mentioned, a few Annoying Orange so far, my favorite, Katy Perry, Lego, what have you. And it seems like once you have the platform down, adding new avatars is pretty simple, and keeping it update, keeping it fresh, that kind of thing. So right before the break, Craig mentioned a question, and that even though you have a great lineup, I can't imagine how you were able to get Lego involved in this. That must have been very difficult. But what other companies and superstars were you able to, what's coming for Avatar? There we go.
Yeah, so we can't tell you a whole lot, but I'll definitely give you some hints so you can get some kind of understanding of what we're going after. I mentioned that we're really focused on that 18 to 24-year-old, and as we focus on that consumer, we go out and talk to those people. We find that they're interested in sports, we find they're interested in celebrity, and we find that they're interested in music. And so, the deals that we are doing right now, the conversations we're having with these kinds of industries is yielding all kinds of incredible opportunities with these folks. So we will continue to focus on bringing those three, high-level categories into the app. And I think it's, you guys are aware that in the U.S., starting in the very near future, there's a pretty important basketball tournament that's starting at the collegiate level. And March Madness is just an enormous opportunity for people to have some fun trash talking their teams and trash talking with their high school and college friends, and just sending fun, encouraging messages. And so in order to really make that valuable and interesting, we wanted to bring mascots from various collegiate environments into the app. And so we're starting to see those show up now, and we think this is really fun for kids who are in college or maybe recent graduates to be able to grab the mascot that they've enjoyed for years and then go root for their home team.
You would think it would be a natural for companies who have, let's say, animated characters to sell their products to work with you. I mean, I could see things like Geico or something with the Geico lizard. I mean, it's just as an example. And now you could have the Geico lizard be, you could be the Geico lizard and talk, and everybody will kind of know, that type of thing, that it would be him. I mean, it seems to me this is really wide open.
It is. There's so many opportunities for brands to connect with consumers, and I think one of the things that's most interesting about messaging today is that all of the content that is created in a messaging environment is created by users, and it's sent to friends, and that content is inherently engaging, because who's not going to listen to a message that their friend sent them, or who's not going to read the message their friend sent them? So when you talk about the opportunity to partner with brands that have mascots or characters or icons like you described, there's a huge opportunity for friends to be generating content, sending it to each other, but in doing so have a brand connection at that moment. And so that's certainly part of our future roadmap and our future opportunity to ensure that brands have an opportunity to connect with users and their fan base and their consumer base in new and novel ways.
Yeah, the more and more I think of, I think there are so many companies that have animals or mascots to represent their companies. I mean, cereal companies, Kellogg's. I mean, there's so many of the characters. Tony the Tiger, for cornflakes. I mean, there some of them are. I think would be really cool to have them. Obviously, as Intel talks with these different companies, I guess these things may or may not appear. We'll just have to wait and see. But with new ways of messaging friends and families, obviously this has really taken off over the last few years. Could you take a few moments to kind of reflect on the trend here that we're seeing happening?
You bet. Yeah, messaging is awfully big. It's really grown at insane rates over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. And there are many messaging products out there, and there's a lot of folks competing with each other in this space. I think our observations and the observations of many analysts are that it's important today, it's very important today, and it's going to remain important for some time to come. One of the trends that you see, and when you actually sit down and talk to consumers, which we try to do a lot, you find that there are some messages, there are some social communications that people just prefer to send to just one other person, or maybe to a small group of people who they're planning an excursion with, or planning to go to the game with, or getting together for dinner. And it's not something that's really maybe appropriate to be sharing in a broad, big social network where dozens or hundreds or thousands of people might come across that particular content. So in this respect, messaging is a little more private, and it's a little more intimate, and it allows people to do some things that they might not feel comfortable doing in a more public or permanent kind of way. And so messaging is working for millennial-aged people for that reason. I think they really like the opportunity to connect with one or with few people, and this is a trend that's certainly been established successfully in the last several years. So this is one reason that we find this space so interesting. We want to create some cool technology, but this is really about making really fun experiences for consumers and allowing them to take this technology that we've built and we all have fallen in love with here, and then allow them to really take advantage of that experience, just using nothing more than their existing smartphone.
Now, it's interesting because, when the average person, you say Intel, the first thing they say is microprocessors. That's what they do, hardware. And yet this seems to be a new area for Intel. At least it appears to be that way to me. And so why the focus on a messaging app like Pocket Avatars?
Well, Intel does so many different things, and we participate in technology ecosystems and in so many different ways. But you're right, not all of them are direct-to-consumer. Intel has classically been that company that works with other brands to take our core products into market. But Intel hasn't been completely afraid of having a direct relationship with consumers in the past. We have done it. Sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't. And I think what you're seeing with Brian Krasanich is a willingness to be bold and a willingness to try new things and a willingness to connect with users in a completely different way. And his management team and Mike Bell, the leader of our organization, have all embraced this. And I think what we're seeing is a real courageous approach to connect with people in new and different ways. This is just one of the many things that Intel's doing. And it is totally different, but it's exciting, it's fun. The response we're getting from consumers is positive. It's really been a fascinating new way to push technology into the consumer space.
Well, it's obviously turning out to be a positive experience for you. I'm curious, you mentioned, does Intel do other applications? I mean, with the app software area, will the app software area be a focus for Intel moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm not going to project exactly what Intel's doing in software. I'll say a few things about this though, because it is an important area for Intel. So Intel has just vast and deep understanding of software and an amazingly talented group of software engineers who do a really wide range of things in the PC industry and server and Android and Windows, Linux and Mac and iOS. Every kind of platform, Intel has talented software engineers working with partners to make sure that our silicon and our technologies work in those environments. And so Intel's been doing that for years and will certainly be doing that for years to come. I can speak more specifically on what our group is doing.
Okay.
We have it's an amazing technology that's built into this little app. There are algorithm developers who are expert in facial and head tracking capabilities. There's people who understand business logic and know how to track things. There's people who understand back-end and messaging. People who know how to write for Android. And it's all has to come together into this nice, cohesive service. And it's difficult, and it's amazing to see it all come together. And so when you look across this huge land of software engineers at Intel, and you can find experts in almost anything. And when you have a particular problem or a particular challenge or a particular service like this, and you want to bring it all together, well, there's someone out there who's expert in it, and you just got to find them and bring them together and organize the activities in the right way. And that's one of the greatest things about Intel is there's diversity and innovation happening everywhere. Wherever you look, it's all over the place.
Well, does Intel do? But what you just said, does Intel do user studies of this type of app or this kind of area? And if so, what are people saying about the app?
Yeah, so you have to really get to know consumers if you're going to deliver a good service. We do user studies. Intel has an amazing research department. They do ethnographic work, and they sit down and talk deeply about various kinds of technologies and how people want them delivered and what kind of user experiences are most important. And we certainly access those talented people here at Intel to help us create the right direction and feature set for this app. We, in our team, have dialogues with consumers, people who have not yet discovered the app, who we want to just get their initial gut response to it, and people who have been users for a little while, so we can understand what's working for them and what's not working for them. And I think any talented group of product engineers and developers today knows the importance of sitting down and talking directly to consumers and letting them tell you honestly what's working and what's not working. And then, of course, your job is to react very quickly and try to fix the problems and address the concerns and move ahead. So, yeah, to answer your question, we do sit down with consumers. Sometimes we do it behind the glass, and sometimes we're just observing them in a sort of what feels almost anonymous to them, and in other times we're just talking directly to them.
Well, when you talk
you asked also,
yeah, what are people? I mean, you're
yeah,
talking to them. So, what are they saying about the app, and what kind of feedback are you getting?
Yeah. So, one of the funnest things about this job is that you get to show this app to a lot of different people, and it's funny that when you show people the app, the experience is almost universal. People are shocked; they can't believe that with their phone or their iTouch, they can actually control a character in real time. With no training. No practice. They just hold the camera up, and voila, they can control this app, and it blinks and it winks and it looks left and it looks right, and you move your head and it moves, and you can zoom in and zoom out, all these crazy technologies, and people are just aghast at what they see. So the first experience is really, really positive. But but I'll be candid with you guys. We know that there's some problems here, and one of the things that we've observed is that some of the people who want to use the app feel like it looks a little kiddish, and so we're in the process of, redefining some of our visual experience. So people say, yeah, man, that's much cooler than it used to be, and that's all happening right now. Some people say, well, I want to send the message, but I can't do it fast enough. Or they say, I want to send the message, but I'm on the subway right now, and I don't want to look like a fool in front of my fellow subway passengers. So they want ways to send quick messages that have a lot of emotion in them, but don't necessarily require that they hold the phone up to their face at that moment. So there's all kinds of insights that you can get from users, and if you're willing to ask the questions and hear both the good and the bad, you can respond and really immediately impact the experience of your future users.
Do you use an avatar to respond to them? No, I'm just kidding.
We use it for almost everything here.
So, sorry if this goes all the way back to the beginning, but the way the Pocket Avatar really works, are you able to send Pocket Avatar messages? Is it only in-app, or can you send Pocket Avatar messages to someone's Facebook or to someone's phone that does not have the app, or is it all just in-app communication from app to app?
You really can send it in both of the ways you just described. The fastest and simplest way to bounce messages back and forth with friends, whether they're text messages or avatar messages, is to do it in-app. So in that respect, what you're doing is we're becoming friends inside the app, and we can do that pretty simply with the software that we've made. Expose your contact list, select the friend that you want, they get the app as well. Now you both have the app, and so you can use the app in that threaded message kind of environment that is typical with most messaging apps. Some people, don't have the app yet, and so they don't know about it. And so if you don't have the app, how do you get a message? If your friend doesn't have an app, how do you get the message to them? Well, in that circumstance, we want to help people drive awareness of the app. We want them to understand that it exists, it's free, it's available at the Android Play Store, or it's available at the Apple App Store, and they can go and get the app whenever they want. And so in that experience, what's happening is I, as an existing Pocket Avatars user, can create a message, an avatar message, and I can send it to people on my Facebook page or my Twitter page, or I can just message them with iMessage if I'm an Apple user, or text message, SMS message if I'm an Android user, just within the standard messaging service that exists with your phone when you got it from the manufacturer. In that case, what's happening is the recipient gets a text message from you, just like they would if you were saying hi or good morning, and there's a URL in that text message. They click on it, we render the video on our back-end servers and stream it directly to their screen. It's a small file, so it doesn't consume a huge amount of data, but they get to see the message as it was originally created by your friend. And then, of course, right after that message is an opportunity for them to go download the app at their Android store or the App Store.
I like that. That's very cool. So they're going to see something, say, that's so cool, I want that. And then the instant gratification, well, you can get it immediately. And
it's free.
And exactly. It's free. And again, it does. You get the image across, and they see the effect, but it's coming from your server. But they can see the end result, and then and of course, picture's worth 1,000 words. Once they see it happen, then they're going to want it. Exactly.
And that's what we see too. I mean, you've just hit the nail on the head. When you get an avatar message and it's moving, it's animated, but it's your friend's voice. It's a bit of a head scratcher at first, and then you realize that your friend actually created that message with a free app. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, I can do that too. And then they do and reply back inside the app at that point.
There it is. That's it. So let me ask you, where can people download the app if they want to get this?
Right now, we're available in the App Store, at Apple's App Store, and just like you do for any other app, you just go to the store and search Pocket Avatars, and the app will come up, and you can download it for free, and then you can use it for free. And the same is true in the Google Play Store. Search it there, and it works. And if you can't remember exactly how to do that, well, we have a pocketavatars.com site and even a YouTube station where you can go and see what content has been created by people and get a feel for the app before you go choose to download it yourself.
And I can download it to my iPhone, but will it also work on the PC or Mac platform? So I can download it there, and then I can send avatar messages to others using my computer?
Well, sort of. We don't make a PC or Mac application that allows you to create messages in those environments, but you can certainly view messages in those environments. So if I emailed you one of those URLs instead of texting it to you, then you would be able to render the video in any browser, really, that you can imagine on your PC or in your phone.
Then I think we've just come up with the next iteration of this, what you need to do next, I think, because it sounds like a lot of fun.
Not the first to ask for the Windows version of this.
Yeah, exactly. So we already mentioned that the app is free, right? There's no cost to this whatsoever.
We don't charge to download the app, and we don't charge to use the app. Messages delivery is free. If you are interested in accessing some of that special content that's offered by Katy Perry or Sony Picture Animation, in that case, you'll incur a 99-cent in-app purchase charge, or in some cases $1.99.
Yeah.
But there's lots and lots of content that's available for free.
Yeah, but if you want to get that special, as you say, then certainly that makes a lot of sense. Then you can get it's almost like skins. You can get the special skin. You want the you want that, you have to pay a little extra for it, and that I think makes perfect sense. Is Pocket Avatars only available in the U.S. at this point, or is it available in other countries also?
Yeah, well, one of the great things about these messaging services is they allow you to connect with your friends and family who live in different countries. And these days, the world being so small, everyone knows people outside of the U.S. And so we want to make sure that people have the opportunity to connect with those friends without charge in this app. So at this moment, we're available in 33 different countries. We will be available in up to 50 different countries in the next a month or two. We focus on English language for many of those countries, but we've also made sure that this is available in French and German, Italian, and Spanish as well for those people who speak those languages primarily. And we'll continue to make it available in other languages as we go.
Now you say languages. So if I want Japanese or something, so it works not only with the regular characters, but it works with the characters for those particular languages as well.
Well, that's a really interesting distinction. So, when we think about how to make this app relevant for people in different countries, we think about the language they speak in to make sure that they can, install the app and they don't have any troubles with any dialogue messages or instructions. So we translate the language. But I think you're right on point when you think about the Japanese market or the Korean market. There's so many unique characters in those two markets. Or go to Europe, for example, and think about the football leagues there, the soccer leagues there. This content is really specific, and people are very passionate about local content. And so we are working across border to make sure that we have really interesting geo-specific or country-specific content that will connect with users in each of these important markets. And as we expand our footprint, in some cases, we'll have very specialized content that is created just for that market. It may not be relevant elsewhere, but it'll be extremely relevant in that market.
Exactly, because there are certain cultural aspects and facial expressions and things that might convey something different than that would normally convey. And so I guess you have to be sensitive.
Annoying orange crosses all cultural bounds. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you do bring up an interesting point, and something that our algorithm team had to work really hard on. People's faces around the world are different, and our algorithm has to work regardless of what you look like, and whether you have facial hair, whether you have glasses. I mean, these are very difficult challenges, and the team has had to overcome all of these as they've built this algorithm. So it really does work well for anybody who uses it.
Rich, we only got about a couple minutes left. Can you tell us quickly about what people can expect next from Pocket Avatars?
Well, I mentioned already that we're updating our visual design and our look and feel, and it's really exciting to see the kinds of changes that are working its way through the development pipe right now. We are building some amazingly engaging features. These are features that we think that 18 to 24 audience will find fun and interesting, not only for a once-in-a-while kind of experience, but for an everyday experience. And you guys probably understand that when you're in the app space, you're trying to get people to use the app not only every month, but every day.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to give people ability to customize things. We want them to have the opportunity to change backgrounds and other aspects and components of the avatar experience. And we're giving them all kinds of flexibility with regard to what the future experience is going to be. And then we're giving brands something. So each of the brands that have the partnership with us, we're trying to make sure that they have a unique way and a new way to connect with their fan base or their consumers. So we're giving them features that allow them to connect with users in a different way. And for the user, we think this is an opportunity to open up opportunities that the brand is offering to them without it feeling like advertising, because who wants to get an advertisement? But it's just a little bit of a opportunity for this broader connection between a brand and users.
Well, but there are some brands out there, that have the animals, like Geico, and it's Gecko. There's some that are very identifiable, and it just, I guess, it goes with the territory. If you want to do that. I'm not saying you're going to use Geico, but I'm sure there are other examples that I can't think of off the top of my head that would certainly make a lot of sense. I'll tell you what, Rich, people can go to our website at computeramerica.com, go to our show notes page, and you'll see tonight's show, the 26th of February, Thursday. You'll see Intel Sponsor Hour. We have a link to an additional story that Intel has done about the Pocket Avatars, and we have a link there. And then you can see this for themselves. And again, you can go and download this at any of the places that Rich has mentioned. Rich, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. This is really, really interesting stuff. And
it was a real pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on tonight.
Again, it's Intel Pocket Avatars. Go ahead again to the show notes page, click the Intel link there, and read more about it and get it. Hey, it's free. It sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. Getting that standard vanilla text. All of a sudden, you're going to have this strange little avatar with facial expressions. Check it out. Again, Rich Hanna, General Manager of Intel Pocket Avatars. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, you take care. Have a good evening. Good night. Good night.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
All right. Coming up in hour 2 of the Computer America Show, we're going to talk about speed reading, but in a whole different light. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And just had Intel on the show. Really interesting idea here. Pocket Avatars. Rich Hanna, General Manager of Intel Pocket Avatars, on the program with us, talking about Intel's. If you had asked me, what Intel was up to next, a new processor, something, hardware, I never would have guessed Pocket Avatars.
In Intel's defense, though, to speak for Intel, it's not just one person behind a screen, doing all these things at once. They are massive. They have so many people working on so many projects. Pocket Avatar is just one of their projects. They're still making their processors, but they're also doing a lot of fun stuff too.
Exactly, and we applaud them for it. All right, so we're going to shift gears now. We're not going to have computer news tonight. usually we do computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. But we're going to talk about another area, something I find to be really fascinating, and that's speed reading. Now, you know, I remember when I was a kid, my parents made me learn typing and also speed reading, and it helped me quite a bit. Ben, I know you're a voracious reader. You can plow through a book that is like what, at least 3 or 4 inches thick in a couple of days. I'm just amazed.
That was my mother with a stick saying, "Read faster, you ingrate." No. My mother loved me, but no, that's just pure reading though. That's not speed reading. I never learned how to speed read it. I never learned how to do anything else. That's just reading for the sake of reading.
Yeah, but you read fast. You might not realize it, but you know, for me
but
to
it's
read.
not. But I didn't train that way. It's just okay. I've read and now I know how to read, and I do it well. It's not speed reading though.
That's it. You do it well, right? And you have excellent when you read, you remember. You know, that's it. Well, in this hour, we're here to discuss why it's important to be able to read more quickly. Okay, now the company's going to be tonight is called Spritz, and their mission is to change the way people engage with content in the digital age. Aha! See, because so much that we're doing now is digital, but it's in print, and by making the reading experience more focused and efficient, their technology helps readers access the content faster with less effort across any device or screen size. Now, born out of scientific research, Spritz was created to solve key challenges currently faced by readers, publishers, and advertisers, including efficient delivery of content on the go, cross-platform compatibility and measurement. Here with us to explain further is James Locke. James is the Chief Innovation Officer of Spritz Technology. Jamie, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys tonight?
Doing dandy.
Yeah, exactly. I got to tell you, I went to and I recommend everybody go to the Spritz website, and we'll give out the website. It's spritzinc.com, but I'll tell you, you can do it later. But you have to do this. Watch the opening video. If nothing more, watch the opening video because you're going to get it just by the video is really well done. Just watch what's happening and kind of just sit back and experience the video. Just experience it and let it happen and do it, and it's going to tell you, okay, you're reading now at 250 words a minute, you know, and you're not even trying it, and it takes you through this process, and you're just watching the video, and it's like amazing. And then when you really kind of get bitten by after the video, you say, well, I think I could do better than that. Then you can go, they have it, try it for yourself. And you go and you can really push it and see how fast you can read. And so now that I've said all that, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Spritz is and what it does, Jamie?
Sure. So Spritz is a technology that allows you to read both very quickly and in a very focused way. And the way that we do that is, you know, some of the basics are that instead of reading words, you know, word by word, line by line, moving through paragraphs, flipping pages, things like that, we show you the words one at a time. And what we do that's extremely that's different and extraordinary is based upon the science and the way that people actually read. We make it so that instead of bouncing word to word when you're looking at the single word, we also position the word in such a way so that your eyes don't have to move in order to comprehend and understand what word you're reading. So, you know, when you take out all of the kind of extraneous components of reading, including moving your eyes and figuring out where your eyes need to go next, and all the things that your brain is doing every single time that you move from word to word or line to line on a page, it allows you to read much, much, much more quickly and with amazing focus is the other thing that people talk about a lot, is just the ability to have crystal clear focus when they're reading.
Really, yeah.
To kind of expand on the whole science thing, I am in no way a scientist or scientifically inclined or how to use words that involve science. But the way I was always told that people read words is, you know, you get the first letter of the word and the last letter of the word, and then like you can mix up the middle. Doesn't really matter. and your brain, it recognizes patterns by the ending of the words, and then, maybe if you have to distinguish between two, then you go to the middle. How can you position a word in such a way that you get the beginning and the end, and it doesn't, like I thought it wouldn't really matter because you're scanning the whole word. Like, why does it matter if it's the fourth letter in, if it's aligned with the fourth letter in or the second letter in?
And that's actually based upon the length of the word that you're going. And as you're reading through a line of words, your brain's really intelligent. It's constantly seeking, trying to read ahead and trying to figure out, okay, I just read a single word, now I've got another word coming up. Where should my eyes be inside of that word so that I comprehend it? So there's a very specific point inside of each word, based on character length for the most part, that when your eyes see it, your brain actually goes straight to comprehending it. And that's what Spritz does. We actually position the word, instead of moving your eyes, we move the word around for you.
Well, I've noticed that in each word, one letter is like red, and it's usually somewhere in the middle of the word. What is that, and why is it important?
So that is the position that when your eye finds, and your eye will actively seek on a word. So, for example, if it sees a word and your eye, for whatever reason, isn't in the proper position, it will move. It's called the saccade. And your eyes do lots and hundreds of these as you're reading, just a single line of text in order to find the exact position so that your brain can comprehend the word. So that's kind of the layman science behind everything. But it's constantly going out there and seeking, trying to figure out where to go to in the next word that's coming up, and then it bounces and your eyes move and it attempts to find that position. So we've simply positioned the word for you.
Okay. Well, when I did it, I started looking, and it was the video was the first thing I experienced this, and it said, hey, by the way, you're reading at 250 words a minute, and I'm going, oh, and it said, yes, we realize this is slow and it's hard for us too, and I go, oh, okay, so, but it required, it took no effort on my part. I just was, it was like it was being delivered straight into my mind. It was not the same experience that I have when I'm reading a page. I almost felt lazy. I was just staring at one point, not moving my eyes, and all of this information was coming into me. It was like, it was like just entering my brain, watching this experience. It's hard to explain. You just have to go to the website and experience it for yourself, but it was like no effort on my part. So then it started getting a little faster. It said, hey, guess what? You're at 275 or whatever it was. It bumped it up. You start bumping it up a little bit. And I found no effort on my part. And by the time it was finished, it didn't tell me how fast it was I was reading at the end of it. You should probably tell people how fast they're reading at the end of the video. It doesn't say that. But then I felt challenged. I went, let me see how far I can take it. I felt challenged. Let me see where this goes. So, and it said try it, yourself. And so then you gave me the next screen, the next web page came up, and I could manually select how many words a minute I want to read at. So I figured, hey, let's go for gusto. So because at that point I said, let me try 400. So and again I'm sitting there reading the passage, no effort whatsoever. So I said, okay, well, let's go to 500 and 600 at that point. So I finally got up to 700 words a minute. At that point, I said, I was reading it. And I'm saying, this is great. I'm reading this. I was reading something about the pirates burying treasure, and then over the years, people were trying to find the treasure, and they were all the efforts that they were going to, and the water, and this. I mean, I found myself getting more engrossed in what I was reading than the way I was reading it. It was just like it's almost like watching TV. Your eyes don't really move around much, and I'm getting all this information fit into my mind. I'm enjoying the story. I'm remembering the story, and I'm going, this is very, very cool. And at the end, I thought, okay, well, let me just try it for the heck. And I said, let me crank this up to 1,000 words a minute just to see what the experience would be like. And at that point, I got a little bit, I went, I got most of it, but I figured I need a little practice here, so let me slow it down. So 1,000 was a little too fast, but I'm sure if I would do it for a little while, I would think that it would be not much effort. Now, is this the typical reaction you get, or am I more atypical for this?
No, most people on their first try, 350, 400 words a minute with comprehension is, and that's the key, of course, because it doesn't do you any good if you read something but you don't remember what you just read. So, 350, 400 is pretty normal for a first session, and then people with practice will, of course, they'll get to a point where reading a 400 is just kind of painful. Now, the 1,000 words per minute, to be honest, that's pretty far out there, and of course we have people every day telling us that they're reading at 1,000 words a minute, but that does take some serious focus. Me myself, I don't read at 1,000 words a minute, but it is great, and our goal is, of course, to if you just talk about the speed component of it, doubling your reading speed. Most people read 180 to 220 depending on the content and difficulty of whatever it is that they're reading, and just the ability to, if you can double your reading speed, how much is that worth to you? That's pretty good for 10 minutes, with a new technology like Spritz.
But you see, that's the key thing, is because, again, you're saying, well, this is great. Why do this? Well, the reason you're doing it this way is because when you have limited screen real estate, this is my impression. If you have a smartphone or let's say a digital watch, where you have maybe an inch of space to do something, getting the reading material presented to you this way is wonderful. I mean, you're not penalized because you're looking at a screen that's only this big. Yeah, you're getting all this content and you're reading it as fast, if not faster, than you would if you were reading it if it was all displayed after you. This is the purpose behind Spritz. This is what I'm assuming it is.
Sure. Yeah, we originally designed it for mobile devices, and it, kind of to combat that issue of this ever-shrinking screen. Now, of course, cell phones have kind of gone in the reverse over the last couple of years, but there was a time when everything was getting smaller and smaller, and now with things like wearables and wristwatches, Fitbits and things like that, the screens are getting very small, and there's no possible way that you could really read content in a traditional way with, with a wearable device, for example. It just wouldn't work, and that's before you started scrolling. This is the other thing that's really important about the technology is there's no need to scroll. We only need 13 characters.
Right, exactly. This is my experience. Now, Ben, I know you looked at it really quickly. I know you didn't take as much time for it. What was
actually while you were just talking there? I just tried the whole, the quiz, the passage with the quiz.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, so I did 1,000 and I got like 6 out of 7 right, so pretty good.
What? That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, we.
See, I tell you, Ben is. He doesn't want to admit it, but he is a fast reader. I mean, he reads books that I swear are 4 inches thick, and he'll read it in 3 days. He'll have it done.
The hard part was tuning Craig out, but other than that, it was pretty easy. I definitely like it in the fact that it, like, there's no doubt that you waste a lot of time by moving down the page and just having paragraphs, because it's very ancient. There's no way that when they were making stone tablets way back in 3500 BC in where have you, they were writing these things out left and right, left to right, up top to bottom. They're writing these things out just to convey information. They didn't have the science behind it. They didn't do any kind of research behind it. It's just what made the most sense for them, what was easiest, and what got the information across. So it stands to reason that even though that's what we're all used to and that's what you see everywhere, that doesn't mean it's the most efficient or effective way. It's just what we're used to.
And that's kind of the background with the company also. So the co-founder Mike Maurer was actually in Germany, and what he was doing was he was actually looking for what he calls technology gaps, which are things or concepts that really haven't moved forward as technology advances have taken place, and reading is perfect. If you look at publishing, for example, we have gone from stone tablets to papyrus scrolls to printing press and now Kindles. But if you actually look at the idea of reading or the concept of reading, it hasn't changed much at all, in the last 5,000 years.
No, it hasn't. Now, how long has this technology been around? I mean, is this something that the Spritz developed? You developed this technology yourself, or has it been around in the past?
Well, we actually, the company's been around for about 3 years now. We worked the first 2 years in stealth mode, but the basis, so showing people words one at a time, is actually a concept called rapid serial visual presentation, and that's been around since 1978 or so.
Okay.
And it was originally created, it's kind of an interesting story, it was originally created to attempt to capture emotional response. Of just showing people words and then attempting to see, you show them happy, sad, and then scientists would try and use it to capture emotional response.
Because we didn't have small little digital devices back then, so there was
That's right. Yeah. But it was purely born out of science, just the idea of showing words one at a time. Right. Now, unfortunately, what happened was people actually said, okay, well, I should try and use this technology, just showing people words one at a time for reading a book. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, because of some of the eye science that I talked about earlier, if your eye is not positioned properly in the word, or you're moving the words around, what happens is it's very, very difficult to track something that's not centered properly. Mm-hmm. So, that's kind of the contribution that Spritz made, was figuring out exactly where the eye would fall in each one of these words, and then actually make it such that your eye could just focus on the red character. The red character. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because that's what I found myself looking at, was just the red character, but I didn't have to move my eye to the left or to the right of the word. Just looking at the red character gave me it was like someone was injecting the word into my brain. I mean, it was just very, very interesting effect that unlike anything I had felt before.
Yeah, and that's what people say. They feel like, they're getting the content injected into their brain, or it's like the Matrix, or they're jacking right into the system. and if once you've been doing it for a while, for sure, you'll read something and say, oh, I did just finish that all. You can have conversations sometimes while you're reading with Spritz with other people in the room and still continue to read. It's an interesting phenomenon.
Now, Ben was worried about retention, though, with this technology. Ben, you had some concerns?
Oh yeah, I've heard about this kind of technology before. As you said, it's been around since the 70s, and I've been around since the 90s at least. So obviously there's a little bit of overlap there, and it seems like when you get up to when you get past a certain point, retention is the major drawback, because yes, you can read 1,000 words per minute, but if you don't remember anything, it's not going to be very useful for you.
Yep. So I think you went in, and it sounded like you were on the test yourself part of our website, and actually went in and took some tests. You got 6 out of 7, 1,000 words a minute. So you're a corner case, Ben. But what we find, we've run, gosh, we're knocking on 100,000 users going through and testing themselves with that. We give them quite a few different pieces of content, different levels, different types. And we found that up to, and for their first try, which most of these people are, 550 or 600 words per minute, there's almost no gap in comprehension. There's almost no cost associated with reading with Spritz. Now, of course, when you move up to 700, 800, 900 words per minute, especially people that are just coming, off of trying Spritz for 45 seconds in our brief demo, their comprehension, of course, goes down at those higher speeds. But, and that was the issue with RSVP. Absolutely. Back in the 70s, they found that because your eyes were, if you watch an eye scan of somebody's, their eyes as they're reading with RSVP, since what they would normally do is they would just directly center the word. And unfortunately, as you guys know, that's not the way to do it. So on a 3-letter word, it works just fine. But you get out on a 5 or 6-letter word, next thing you know, your eye has to move left or right, and even worse when it has to move back to the left in order to get to that what we call the optimal recognition point. That's the point in the word that we center on.
Now, do you have an algorithm That you just feed words in, or do you have to work on have to have human interaction with each and every word, and then once you build the dictionary, then you're fine? Or is there an algorithm that basically positions this based upon the word that you've given to the algorithm?
No, it's all an algorithm.
Okay.
There's too many words for us to do it. Plus, we support 18 different languages. So.
Oh. Now, this is obviously with language.
Before you get to the language thing, just go back to retention real quick. And I didn't want to skim over this because it is like, if there's ever one drawback for this, I think it's going to be retention. Because even when I read normally, just at let's say I read 200 words a minute or 180 words a minute on a normal book, just like normal, I have trouble with retention regardless. Like, you have to read it 2 or 3 times, especially if it's something very technical and things like that.
Well, yeah.
It seems like using something like Spritz probably like it would help you with a little bit of speed reading and to increase your overall average speed, but you wouldn't. I assume you wouldn't really recommend this for a training manual for your new job. Like, this is for current events, news articles, just things you want to digest and kind of have in the back of your mind, not things that you need to actually study and thoroughly understand.
That's actually a really interesting direction, because we are currently testing with college age kids on actually very highly technical material. And you can go back, of course. We've got full controls. Think of it kind of like a video player where you can forward back, whatever you need to do. If somebody walks into the room, it's not like it's simply gone. You can simply go back to whatever content, where you were when you left off, or if you felt like, oh my gosh, I didn't quite catch that proper noun, Mr. Ungambato, I missed that. So you can go back and actually take a look at it. So, that's also one of the things that we try and stress, which is, hey, you don't have to read it straight through and never pause, never stop. You wouldn't do that in reading either. So yeah. But we have found with the college age kids, we have found that it is very very useful for technical, especially once you explain to them that they can go back and that it's not necessarily a race. So it's kind of like regular reading. You have to use your own good common sense.
I'll be honest here. When I tried the 1,000 words a minute, when I just took it just to get the experience, I started getting a little bit of a headache. It hurt. It started to hurt, and so I had to stop. Because it was obviously too much, too fast. That was my only. Of course, this is my initial experience with it. That I'm sure if I practiced it would be different. And you're very clear. You say, it's going to take a little time to do that. So if you try it, I think that's going to be an experience. But don't let that. I would say don't let that discourage you. I would just say, take it to the level where you feel comfortable. You should probably start with the material that's entertaining, that you want to read, not something of a study nature. I would say just read something. That's entertaining, lighthearted, that type of thing, and then as you develop the skill, then increase the speed. At least that's what I would think. Now, what is your recommendation?
I actually. It's kind of funny because human nature is always a little different than the recommendation that you, of course, would give. Because you said, 350, 400, okay, feeling good. Okay, let's go to 1,000. and a lot of people do that. That's very common. But it's kind of like, buying a brand new Porsche GT and flooring it as soon as you get out of the parking lot from the dealership. We don't recommend that, of course. But yeah, most people, like I said, 350, 400 in your first session is that leaves people wanting more. They want to try and go faster, but the other piece, we have what we call the Goldilocks zone, which is based upon the content that you're reading and even your mood. It's very much like traditional reading. There's a place where it's not too fast and it's not too slow. And that's the place that we recommend people look for. And with just a little bit of practice, people find it pretty quickly.
I like that, the Goldilocks. Yes, it's not too fast. It's just right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's going to change too, because I assume the more you spritz, the better you'll become at it. Is that correct?
Sure. And I think most people also have kind of natural, maximum speed. and they usually find it. You know, we've been running tests on folks for, you know, going on a year now, and you know, there is a limit to how fast you could read traditionally, how fast you could read with a speed reading course, and there's of course, you know, a limit to how fast you could walk, run, or spritz.
I just had a picture in my head of like you giving a tour through the Spritz lab where you're testing these things, and it's just like a very sterile, clean room, metal floor, metal ceiling, and there are people strapped in chairs with like the little things holding their eyes open, like, throwing words at them. They're like, this gentleman here can only do 1,200 words a minute. This lady over here, 800. Like you're testing people.
Yeah, you know, when we came out, we got a lot of that. We saw a lot of pictures from Clockwork Orange with them posting the person's eyes open. But yeah, please blink. You know, people also ask us, you know, oh my gosh, do I blink? Yes, you can blink. You know,
what happens when you blink? That's a good point. I really, if these things are going at a fairly good clip and you blink, are you going to miss a word, or does your what happens?
You know, your brain, just like you were talking about how your brain automatically reorganizes things, you know, words if they're misspelled or if they're shown to you out of order or something like that. Your brain's very good at putting puzzles like that back together and saying, oh, I just missed the word the, you know. And it's literally, you know, until you get up to that kind of 1,000 word per minute mark, you know, blinking isn't really much of a concern for folks. So...
Blink's what, an eighth of a second or something? A blink, the average blink, I think it is. And so
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't notice anything. I wasn't really aware of it, but I did notice it when I hit the I just had to try the 1,000, and then I did that.
You couldn't help yourself.
Of course not. Yeah, you want to. You know, plus the fact that I know I'm going to interview you, and I want to have some experience with it. So. But I just found
why do anything if you can't do it the best?
Yeah, I mean, let me try it and let me see. And you know, I just found it to be extremely entertaining and interesting. I guess my next question to you is, let's say I like this and I want to continue on with this, Jamie. I mean, where do you offer a product or something that allows this to feed? I mean, how do I actually use this? What do you offer?
So the place to find out is actually on our website. We've got a Get Spritz section that kind of lists the latest, greatest software that's available. What we did when we debuted, you know, about a year ago when we came out of quote-unquote stealth mode, is to release an SDK to developers so that the developers could go out, write software, and embed Spritz into it. So, you know, there's call it 20-some different pieces of software out there available for Android, available for iOS, Windows Phone, the desktop, etc., that integrates our technology.
All right. So, I'll tell you what, I have more questions for you, but we're at the bottom of the hour. Okay, so we're going to take a little break, and then we'll continue on with this. Ben and I are talking to James Locke. Jamie is the Chief Innovation Officer of Spritz Technology. We're talking about this amazing reading technology that they have developed. I'm curious to know whether they've used it in classrooms. I want to find out more about this. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We'll be right back with them. Stay with us. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
And we're off. Hi, it's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Lutron Caseta Smart Bridge. Not sure how you pronounce it. It's C-A-S-E-T-A. Lutron is best known for making outlets and switches and other necessities for electrical work. They also make some of these with electronics. They can talk to the Caseta control system, which can also work with a Honeywell Wi-Fi thermostat, a Nest thermostat, and a few motorized window shades or rollers. They send a Caseta Smart Bridge, plugging it into a wall wart and a gigabit port, then fetching its app, had it running quickly. Like many home control systems, this one uses quote-unquote scenes, each denoting some combination of settings for connected stuff. You choose whether they trigger manually or on a schedule. The hub uses 430 to 440 megahertz radio with a 30-foot range, which means roughly 2,800 square feet. And it limits control to no more than 50 sensors or effectors. Bottom line, with good planning, a Lutron Caseta Smart Bridge can be programmed for secure, intelligent automatic control of lights, shades, and more with a smartphone that need not ever run its app again, but may for changes or direct manual control. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show.
Yes.
It is 33 minutes past the hour, and not a Friday, just like I was thinking for some reason, because then we would have a Share Matter Winner of the Week. But no, we're talking to James Locke from Spritz, and which is this great app that lets you go into reading this kind of thing. Do we answer, like, for the break how it actually works? You mentioned that you were sending out developer kits and people would be able to integrate it on different platforms. I'm assuming everything from smartwatches to computers to smartphones.
Sure. Yeah. So smartwatches, absolutely. So you can actually get apps for Spritz, on the Gear 1, the Gear 2, the Gear S from Samsung. We're actually working on Android Wear now, but as watches become available, you'll start seeing Spritz software out there also on Android Wear. So, and who knows what's going to happen with the Apple Watch, needless to say.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm just out of curiosity, how fast do you Spritz?
Well, like I said, it depends question. That's the answer to most questions in life, right? It depends. It depends on what I'm reading. If I'm reading a web page, like Huffington Post, we just integrated with them. Huffington Post on average, it's straight news, so 350, 400, 425. Sometimes it depends on my mood. Sometimes you'll start spritzing and 3 minutes into it, you'll be like, this is painfully slow, and then you increase your speed and off you go again. But yeah, I'm not one of those 1,000 words per minute folks. I actually fielded an email a couple of days ago where it was actually a reader, an end user, who was complaining that he wanted it to go 1,600 words per minute because 1,200 was just too slow.
Oh my God. Well,
And
let me ask you the obvious question. What are some of the speeds what's the fastest speed that you know of recorded someone using Spritz?
We actually only support up to 1,000 words a minute in the stuff that we do because I also feel like you have to be realistic too. So, the guy who wanted to read 1,600 words per minute, come on, that's the equivalent of skimming while spritzing, I guess. He picks up about every 6th word or something.
Got it. All right. So you think he was showing off? Well, let me take the opposite question then. Does Spritz help kids or people who have trouble reading? Does it help them in any way?
Sure, and that that was one of the things that we found out very early when we released this technology. We started hearing from people coming out of the woodwork saying, "Hey, I'm a dyslexic or I have ADHD, and when I read with Spritz, I can actually read and go much, much, much faster than I traditionally do." Yeah, a lot of those, like you take an ADD or an ADHD, those are focus-based issues. So the issue with a kid trying to read that's got ADD on a sheet full of 150 words is that when they're trying to read an individual word, they got 149 others that their brain could be paying attention to. So they just have a problem focusing and staying on task.
That's it. I mean, I felt extremely. It was a very focused experience. It really was. Unlike I'm hard to reflect on something else that I had that was similar to that. It was extremely, almost like a tunnel, not tunnel vision, but it was really focused. It was pinpointed at getting that. So I guess kids who are easily distracted may not be by other things because they're so focused on this.
Yeah, and the other thing that it does, since there's only one word for them to focus on, it removes all the other distractions from the page. So, we found that was the other thing. We've got studies going on right now in the UK that's specifically with school-age children. And what we're finding is that those kids, one of the most startling statistics is, they read on average about 2.5 times faster with Spritz, end up with a little bit better comprehension than they do traditionally. But the one stat that's actually astounding is that their completion rate, which is the amount of kids that make it all the way through the content that they're supposed to read, is about 60% higher with Spritz than over traditional reading. So the issue, you take a dyslexic kid, for example, and you say, here's a page, I'm going to have you read a page out of, The Hobbit, and then I'm going to ask you some questions on it. The issue with these kids is that they quit before they ever finish the page. And of course, if you're testing them for comprehension, for example, anything that they didn't read, they're going to miss that question.
Yeah.
So that was a really astonishing statistic that came back from our early results working with school-age kids, was that they were able to complete and for the first time actually go and answer all the questions because they had read all the content. It was quite extraordinary for them.
So is this being used in the classroom at this point?
Not yet. When you start trying to change reading, it's kind of a big goal, as you can imagine. And one of the things about getting it into classrooms is that the first thing that you want to make sure that you do is that you do no harm with these kids. So we've been working on studies and things like that for a very long time to prove efficacy, and that using Spritz is going to improve the capabilities of these kids who use it, and definitely make sure that it doesn't take them a step backwards, for example.
How long is that going to take you to reach that goal?
Like I said, we've got studies underway. There's 3 that are on school-age kids right now that are underway with third-party researchers all over the world, and there's one with college kids, all with educational partners or independent researchers. So, we figure you could start seeing the first Spritz in the classroom within the next 3 to 4 months. Might be pretty reasonable, actually.
All right. So let me ask you this. Do you have any new upcoming features that you can talk about, or new partnerships?
Let's see, new partnerships. Well, I can talk about. So we've got a new engine coming up. We're going to be updating our Spritz engine, which is it's the piece that processes all the text and turns it into Spritz and actually creates the timings and things like that. We'll be doing that here in a couple of weeks with the new engine, and the new engine actually is geared to really assist people with reading books. That's one of the major things. So we've taken a lot of strides forward related to tracking conversations, and proper nouns. A lot of the things, if you spritz for a little while, it's generally pretty obvious kind of the things. Oh, that was a number. That was 62,248, and it simply went too fast for me. So there's a lot of things that we're putting in there. We're putting some NLP components in, just to make the reading experience with Spritz really, really exciting.
NLP?
Yeah, natural language processing.
Okay.
So computer learning.
Exactly. So I really can't go to the library now and check out a book or ask it for the Spritz version at this point.
Not yet. We've got several e-readers out there on both Android and iOS, but we have a big partnership coming up that I can't talk about that will also move us towards those areas.
Okay. Probably something along the fact, one of the big publishers who want to make their book available. I could certainly see that being a natural trend. One of the big publishers, and they want to get their books out, and now you can read them in the Spritz format. I think that would be very cool.
We actually did an interesting thing on a new Patricia Cornwell. I don't know if you know that author, but she writes kind of spy novels, and we actually did an out of home advertisement in England, in the train station, one of the train stations there, where you could actually spritz the first chapter of her new book right there in the train station.
Oh,
which is pretty interesting. People would just stop and stop and stare. It definitely got some attention, and it's an interesting way to portray a lot of information.
Hopefully, you started them at 200 words a minute or something.
Yeah, it was a little bit slower.
Well, 1,000 words a minute for the first time probably wouldn't do it, but yeah, exactly. It certainly would do it. Well, Jamie, very interesting stuff. I found the website to be very interesting. I recommend highly to all of our listeners. Go to the website. Again, it's spritzinc.com, or you know what? Just go to computeramerica.com. Go to our show notes page. Look at today's show. Again, it's February the 26th. And you'll see in the second hour Spritz, we actually have a link right there to the Spritz website on our website at computeramerica.com. That stays up forever. So, and then I encourage you, watch the opening video, let it happen to you, and I am sure you're going to want to take it the next step and then try it out for yourself. But watch the initial video on the homepage and just experience it. I think that is enough to get you started on this. It certainly did it for me.
And I personally have to kind of say I am swayed, and I must apologize because I came into this thinking it's an app that's using old Bumpkiss research from the 1970s to get people out of a few dollars. I can safely say now you have talked more about research than so many other apps that we have on the show, so many other programs on the show. You guys are really trying to, push this to not only as far as it can go, but to kind of help people be, just better readers, which in this day and age is sadly lacking for a lot of people. So I am swayed, sir. Thank you for coming on.
All right, good. Another convert.
And if you're a parent and you have children who are having some reading difficulties, certainly this is something you need to look into as well. And again, as I said, just go to the website, go to our website and click on the show notes, and you can see spritzinc.com. Try it out for yourself. You'll get it after you watch the opening video, and you go, "Oh, this is cool," and then take it further. Just watch the opening video and experience it yourself. James, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Very innovative.
Hey, yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. And maybe we'll do this again in 6 months, or and see how things are coming along for you. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
All right. Well, Ben, I think we're gonna go to do some computer and technology news. Should we do that?
Yeah, we got a little bit of time for a story or two.
Okay. Well, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for
free.
You got it. He got it this time.
Thank you. So we have about 13 minutes or so to do some stories, and the big one, Craig, get ready for to cue up the applause. This is the biggest news today. It's found on every single website, and it's made a lot of news. It's official. The FCC reclassifies broadband internet under Title II. Yes. That's net neutrality for everyone who has been keeping track. We have done many a segment on the show concerning the subject, and went from the legal, the whole not NAFTA. Why am I thinking of NAFTA? They had all the acronyms a couple years ago, and SOPA, PIPA, that kind of thing. All that was the prelude to this, and now this is the ultimate end result of net neutrality. And really, at the end of the day, people may still be thinking, okay, what does this mean for me? How does this ruling affect me? And at the end of the day, it doesn't. Nothing should change, and that's a good thing, because the internet has been doing a lot of great things. The internet is flourishing in an environment that is open, free, and without limitations anywhere. Like as long as you have internet access, there's no one telling you where you can go, what you can do, what content you can put up, what content you can see, how fast you're going. As long as you get on the internet, you are good to go. So classifying it under Title II helps preserve the status quo, which everyone likes. I've never seen anyone say there's too many websites on the internet that I can go to. Someone should really regulate this. Title II is a good thing. So it was finally approved under a 3-2 vote today.
Wow.
By the FCC.
Wow.
Yeah, big news.
It is big news. I mean that's. But we talked a little bit about over dinner, and
I did not like your attitude one bit. No.
Well, no, because
you do what Jasmine and Diesel do. You roll over and show your belly. That's not what you do.
Well, because then after it gets approved, it gets all passed, then they're already getting ready to sue the government about it.
Okay. I found this article from Max and PC, and the big news is that today the FCC did it. They had some great quotes, and I wish I could actually find the exact quote that I'm thinking of. But Chairman Wheeler, who is the chairman of the FCC, actually mentioned something along the lines of Title II is no more restricting of the internet and innovation as the First Amendment is a restriction of free speech. It doesn't restrict you. It doesn't restrict the internet in any way. It just preserves the fact that you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. So it's not restricting, and that's what many proponents have been saying. So and here's the update, by the way. This just came out like this afternoon, and this is they have two responses here on the article.
Mm-hmm.
Two responses here on the article, and the first one is Comcast has come and said, quote, it's disappointed the commission chose this route, which is certain to lead to years of litigation and regulatory uncertainty and may greatly harm investment and innovation, when the use of Section 706 alone would have provided a much more certain and legally sustainable path. So obviously Comcast, one of the big ISPs, is very, very unhappy with it. The other comment is from AT&T, who said, quote, partisan decision taken on 3-2 votes can be undone on similarly partisan 3-2 votes only 2 years hence. And the FCC decision made without clear authorization by Congress can be undone quickly by Congress or the courts. So AT&T essentially saying this was only pushed through because of the partisan divide in the voting system, 3-2, and AT&T is saying, hey, we're gonna sue and we're gonna take this to court and we're gonna wait 2 years until the political landscape is a bit different, and we're gonna overturn it in 2 years. So.
Well, that's what I said. I said, it's going to get passed through, and then it's just going to go. They're going to re-challenge it over and over again.
They're going to re-challenge it over and over again. There's a lot of money at stake here. when you talk about the economics of it, there's a ton of money being pumped in a lot of different directions. But at the end of the day, today there was a definite victory for people who have been pushing for Title II, which is the first time that this has happened, the first time that the internet has been considered a common carrier, a utility. And that's a good thing, regardless of what happens tomorrow or a year after. That is a huge victory for people pushing for this, which just happened today. So that was the impressive news.
Yes, again, cutting edges, and you heard it here at ComputerAmerica.com. I'm sure we'll be hearing more and more about it as time passes on.
Yep.
Well, this next story from Maxim PC, evidently Microsoft is going to be removing Google Chat and Facebook from Outlook.com. Evidently, nothing but Skype from here on out, according to Microsoft. And for those of you who are using Outlook.com, you will have to rely on Skype for all of your communications needs. In an email to its users, Microsoft announced that it will be removing Facebook and Google Chat from Outlook.com. It is a move that is unsurprising given how much Microsoft has invested in Skype. Okay, within the next couple of weeks, we will be discontinuing support for Facebook Chat and Outlook.com, and due to Google's decision to discontinue the chat protocol used by the Google Talk platform, we can no longer provide Google Chat and Outlook.com. Reads an email from Microsoft. We understand that this may disappoint some of our customers, but we hope that you'll try Skype for Outlook.com chat and video and voice calling so you can take advantage of the more robust ways to keep in touch with friends and family. Okay. Microsoft went on to say that this will not affect users' connection to their Facebook or Google accounts. That means that users' People page and the People apps will continue to be updated with the latest contact information from those services. So whether the removal of these two services will cause Outlook.com users to go elsewhere rather than use Skype remains to be seen. So there you go. It's a move that is sort of predictable because Microsoft did pay so much for Skype, and they want you to use it. You know, so no, you don't. Ben, you don't use Outlook.com, do you?
No, Outlook seems outdated to me.
Okay. Well, it's Outlook.com, so it's really the website. I use Outlook on my Mac.
Whatever.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But let's get to something actually interesting and actually important to people's lives.
Yeah.
And this one from CNET, of course. Done drinking your KFC coffee? Eat the cup. People in the UK, who for some reason buy coffee at Kentucky Fried Chicken, are in for a bit of a treat later this year. A limited edition edible coffee cup made out of something sweet.
Well, you can eat the cup.
This is a good idea. I like it. So KFC is rolling out a new coffee cup later this year to celebrate its 50th anniversary, but instead of traditional coffee cup materials, the new Scoff-E cup is made out of a cookie. Yes, a cookie. So at select KFC restaurants in the UK, the company will use a coffee cup that's fashioned out of a cookie, wrapped in edible sugar paper, and fortified with a layer of heat-resistant white chocolate that helps keep the cookie crispy and your coffee hot. As you drink your dough, the chocolate lining melts over time, making your coffee a bit sweeter and softening the cookie so it sort of melts in your mouth. Once you've finished drinking your brew, you can eat the cup for dessert, and of course, the cup is zero waste. Assuming we're not talking about 10 hours later. To make things better or worse, the cups, which were designed in partnership with the Robin Collective, are also infused with scents said to help improve mood. These include the likes of coconut sun cream, freshly cut grass, and wildflowers. Because when you're eating a cookie, who hasn't thought, you know what this needs? Freshly cut grass scent. That sounds nice. So the Scoffy Cup will make its debut in select KFC restaurants in the UK later this year. If you live or are traveling near the participating store, you might want to check it out for novelty's sake. Though to be warned, KFC isn't exactly known for its coffee.
This is true.
That's more of Dunkin' Donuts racket.
Yeah, it is. Or Starbucks.
Or Starbucks.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking at a picture of it.
I'd eat it.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks delicious.
I'm just shocked that they're not bringing this to the U.S. They're bringing it to the U.K. Why? If there's one thing that Americans like, it's dessert and it's cookies. Why wouldn't you bring this to the U.S.? Shocking.
Yeah. Well.
Disappointing, really.
Disappointing. Yes, exactly. I don't think we have time to do any more news stories, but let me just let you all know that our contest for our Logitech contest ends tomorrow at midnight Eastern Time. So if you haven't entered, you need to do so now. Head over to computeramerica.com. Go to, right there on our homepage under the Interact pull-down menu. Go to Enter Contests, and you'll see our Logitech Register. You click that button, and you'll see the 3 great prizes we're giving away: the Logitech HD Webcam C310. The second place prize is the Logitech G400S gaming optical mouse valued at $60, and the grand prize, the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker valued at $70. You get to pick the color if you win. The registration form is right there on that same page. Put the information, click the submit button, and you will be registered to win. And you need to do this by midnight tomorrow night Eastern Time when we close it down Friday. Yeah, that's it. So it's done, finito. So, and then over the weekend we'll draw the 3 winning names. On Monday, March the 2nd, we'll announce the 3 big winners, and we'll start the contest over again. But why wait? If you can get your entry in now, do so. Get your entry in, and while you're at it, subscribe to our weekly email newsletter, the Show Reminder. It's right next to that contest. Subscribe. It's free. It's all private. It's all confidential. We give your information out to no one unless you're a winner, and then we'll give you the Logitech your info so they can mail you your prize. But our Show Reminder really is the only publication in the universe where you can get the entire lineup of guests for that week on Computer America. So, and then every Friday from that list of subscriber names, we draw a winning name to win the Logitech T650 wireless glass touchpad valued at $80. It's a beautiful touchpad. Gestures, it does it all, and you get a chance to win one of those every Friday. We'll be giving one of those away tomorrow night. So go to our contest page, enter in all of our contests. You'll have a lot of fun entering them all, and who knows, you might win something nice.
90 seconds.
So I guess that wraps it up for tonight. Again, I want to thank our guests, Rich Hanna, the Intel General Manager of Intel Pocket Avatars, and again from Spritz, we had James Locke, the Chief Innovation Officer of Spritz Technology. Thank you both for being on the show. Tomorrow night, it's Michael Miller. That's right, Mike Miller, author of over 150 books.
60 seconds.
We got all kinds of topics to talk about with Mike. He's a fun guy. And
I'm pretty sure he's going to be mad that net neutrality passed. I think he was of the opposition.
Maybe we'll talk about that with him. Get his take on it. Yeah, we get his take from it. And but he's going to be with us for both hours here on the Computer America show. And maybe we'll talk movies too a little bit because it's Friday night. Okay. Well, it was a lot of fun. Thank you all for being here with us, and hopefully you will be here with us again tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody. Again, thanks for watching us here on a live Computer America video streaming page. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow night. So have a good one. See you then.
Good night.
Good night.